Alone. You never have thought of the concept alone before, but as you are in bed, unable to sleep, your mind starts to wander. You think about what you did or what you're going to do tomorrow. Then you start to think of darker subjects you wish you had never thought of. You wonder if you were the only one in the house awake at this hour. You wonder if you were the only one awake in your room. Right there you hear small, subtle creaks in your kitchen. Right away you pass it off as just the wind, but then you hear it again. This time you know it can't be. Just a second ago there was no wind but a breeze. Maybe you're imagining it. Yeah, it has to be that. No one else is awake and you're certain you locked the door. Minutes seem like hours. You hear the creak again. But this time, it seems closer. How could it? Your imagination and mind are playing tricks. You live in a good neighborhood. There's never any crime here. Your thoughts are cut off mid-sentence as you hear the noise which seems to be just out your door. Without hesitation, you throw your heavy comforter over your head to protect you. You're breaking out in a cold sweat, thinking over and over again, there's nothing there. Then, you hear the small, somewhat non-existent creak of your door. The sound rips through your mind for what seems like hours. You want to check, but if you do, you could meet face to face with someone or something. So you just shut your eyes as tight as you can, trying as hard as you can to go back to sleep. Just leave this nightmare. Hours go by without a single noise. Your heartbeat is slowing down. You start to think of how stupid you were to think something was there. As you lift your covers off, you freeze and just hear one last thing. You shouldn't be up. For the longest time I've turned to ASMR to help relax me. ASMR stands for Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response. It's basically a brain orgasm that is triggered by personal attention, tapping sounds, deliberate tasks, ear and microphone covering. Well, there's a multitude of things that can trigger that sort of response. It's been my go-to for anxiety for the last couple of months. You can find these videos easy enough on YouTube. I usually listen to massage ASMR before bed. But as I laid there, listening to an inaudible whispering video, I started to feel a bit chillier than usual, so I decided to get up and grab a sweater. My window was open and it was a bit of a colder night. Anyway, I took my headphones off and set them aside. When I went to pause the video, I realized that it had frozen. Sometimes our connection is a bit shoddy. I was listening for about 30 minutes, so I guess that could explain it. My internet had been trying to load an hour-long video. I decided to click near the beginning of the video to back up and just listen to the same 30 minutes before bed. When I hovered over the progress bar, however, I noticed that the video had never played past the first 10 minutes. In retrospect, I should have realized something was wrong when I thought I could feel the breath on my ears. My cousin recently moved here from Secunderabad, India. On a recent road trip exploring America, we were shooting shit and exchanging ghost stories and laughing at similarities and differences between American ghost stories and Indian ghost stories when I asked her if she's ever experienced anything supernatural. Her eyes widened as she averted them to the window. Just when the silence was about to be too much for me, she softly responded, "Yes, a few. One is troubling." When I was a second year in college, I stayed in an all-girl hostel. I made many friends. We were all very happy to be in a school away from our conservative parents. The hostel was so much fun, but it was a very old building. Electricity was only put in the rooms. Sometimes candles were placed along the windows if a watchman was present, but normally once you left the rooms, you were faced with complete darkness. It's common to wake up someone if you need to walk down to the restroom at the end of the hall. We all had a childish fear of being alone in the dark. One night, I had to use the restroom. It was about 4 a.m. I went to my friend's bed and tapped her on the arm. She immediately opened her eyes as soon as I touched her. I apologized for bothering her and told her I needed to pee. She smiled at me and hopped out of bed. All the way down the hallway, she laughed and danced. I could not see her at all, but her bangles clanked together loudly and the bells on her anklets jingled softly. It was very calming. I laughed and sashayed my hips down the hallway with her, too tired to match elaborate arm movements. She said nothing to me, though occasionally I heard her hum one of our favorite Bollywood songs. The same thing happened on our return. I fell back asleep easily. I awoke fairly late the next morning to the sound of men in our room. They surrounded her bed. I bolted from my bed, prepared to protect my friend, when I realized they were administrators of the college. I peered over closer. My friend's lifeless eyes were fixated on my bed, the same smile on her face. Suicide. Her time of death was 11:30 p.m., almost 5 hours before I woke her. Why do you do it? You don't know why, but you do. You make sure the windows are locked. You check the other side of the door in your closet. You even check under your bed. Why do you do this? Does ripping open the shower curtain and seeing nothing there make you feel safe? Does scoping the area with your eyes after reading a scary story reassure you? Well, it shouldn't. Because by the time you've looked, I've already hidden. My son and I often play games. He's 5 years old now, so our games can range from pirate battles in the middle of the ocean to simple board games like snakes and ladders. Today we decided to play hide and seek. I counted to 50 while he went to hide in one of the 3 hiding places that he always picks. Ready or not, here I come, I called, as I slowly made my way to the sofa. I looked down and there he was, 2 little feet sticking out from behind the sofa, accompanied by muffled laughter. "Oh, I can't find you anywhere," I exclaimed, knowing that the idea that he'd hidden well would cause him to jump out of his hiding place in excitement. "Right," I said. "Time for bed." As I tucked my son into bed and kissed him goodnight, a small figure appeared at the bedroom door. "Mummy," it whispered, "you didn't come find me."